Hello, MGTOW. Hello, men. This is Howard Dare. Actual. Thanks for stopping by. So I want to talk about dealing with the fractured mind of a consumer, because I believe that our society is dealing with this exact problem, and it's driving us to madness. And it's almost impossible to build a decent human life in this particular environment. And I want to tell you why, what's going on, and just, share some of my thoughts on this subject. But first, very quickly, let me say thank you to the MGTOW community, to all the men out there that have been supporting the Howard Dare channel, that have been supporting me. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry that I'm not here often enough to provide regular content as I used to. But I'm not going to come on here and complain about the circumstances. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to come on when I think I've got some insight and some solutions for you. So let's start, let's get into this. Dealing with the madness of a fractured consumer mind. Because I've been in a difficult environment, these last 5 years or so. Meeting a lot of people dealing with addiction, depression, homelessness, health consequences, just really, way down towards the bottom of the situation. And, what's interesting is that I myself, although I'm here, am not really a huge product of this environment. That's what I like to tell myself, right? But it's been very challenging dealing with it. Notice the language I used there. It's been challenging, not a problem. It's been challenging. I'll get into this more. And I've tried to understand, what I'm dealing with. I've tried to figure out how to approach and interact with the people in my environment in such a way that I can be healthy and productive and move forward, achieving my life goals. But it's damn near impossible in this particular environment. Or rather, again, I find it very challenging. What's going on? I've asked myself. At first, I'm asking myself, how do I deal with this particular interpersonal problem, with this particular person who's giving me this particular problem? How do I deal with this particular situation that's causing me such grief and stress? And no matter what I tried to do, no, it just didn't work. Whatever solution I tried to implement, like a snake, it just slithered out of my control and turned back on me. And so I needed a much deeper and profound examination into what's going on. And I realized that the mind of our citizens we've been conditioned into this consumer mindset. And it's not all bad, right? Like, what's wrong with having a lot of good products with good prices, right? Nice choice. What's wrong with that? It's better than not having it, isn't it? And indeed it is. But what's the price? Well, the price is advertisement or competition for your attention. Now, what's the best way to get your attention? Or what's the best way to get the average person's attention? And then to move it and manipulate it and guide it in the direction that you want to guide it into. And the answer is hooks, triggers into their emotions, right? Yeah, you know this. You want to get somebody on your side or something like that. You talk about the things that they care about, that they feel strongly about. You elicit those things out of them. Buy these products because they're the best products, and you'll get the most value for your money, and you won't be a fool, and you'll look better than the people you might be comparing yourselves to. So the consumer is comparing things. Their deepest fears are being played upon. This is salesmanship 101, appeal to their ambition, appeal to their fear, appeal to their vanity. So this is pretty simple stuff. Like, you already knew this. But what happens in a world that's it? That's the totality of what's going on. Or rather, that this competition for your attention becomes so pervasive that it drowns out every other sound and activity. So while the marketplace is competing for your attention, or for the consumer's attention, the consumer's ability to focus on the things that really matter and are important in their life's goals, their true authentic self, how they really feel about a situation, are being drowned out. They're being obliterated. So the people you're dealing with, these are people who want stuff. These are people who want products. And the idea is that we live impulse to impulse, that all the people want is to feel good in the next 5 minutes. And if you think that that's an exaggeration, I can tell you that that was actually a more ideal situation. What you've got now is that people just don't want to feel bad. But how could you not feel bad if all of your mind is occupied with 5-second competitions for your attention? And the only thing that a person wants in that mindset is to feel good. And then we'll take away your ability to feel good is taken away by, not yours, but the consumer's ability to feel satisfied, to feel good, to have a meaningful life is taken away in the desperate desire for the next item, for the next dopamine hit, for the next feel good. As that model continues, and it's a very basic model, it's part of our biology and evolution, this automatic success mechanism, as things feel good, we do it more, we feel good, and we, become addicted. Hopefully, it is not maladaptive and destructive to us. Of course, it is, with most of the products that we're dealing with, processed foods, drugs, emotional fixes, media addiction. Okay, most of these things are actually bad for us. But it destroys the ability of the mind to comprehensively, cohesively correlate all of your life's goals and ambitions. This is not a simple, it's much more like a symphony orchestra. Your mind, your life, your future, your goals, your people, your environment, the fishbowl in which you live, the complexity of it. It's much more akin to a symphony with hundreds of players and parts than it is to a single person with a spotlight on them screaming or rapping. And yet, the mindset of our modern day consumer, that's you, that's me, is conditioned with 5-second competitions for your attention to originally make you feel good, but now merely to distract you from feeling bad. And here is the addictive pattern. This is why we come back to the video game. Anyway, besides the point, right? On some level, you knew this, you maybe didn't put these pieces together exactly, but you've got some idea. How are you going to extract yourself out of that such that you can build your life? Step number 1, finding your own way. And then how are you going to carry it out? How are you going to implement that? I mean, if you want to study for the big exam and everybody in your dorm wants to just listen to loud music as loud as possible for, late at night, you're going to have to go someplace else to study. And what if the same thing is happening in the library? Well, you're going to have to go someplace else to study, aren't you? So what if you want to build a good life for yourself, right? That's very vague, isn't it? A good life. We can get into that. Where are you going to go? Who are you going to talk to? Who is going to show you the way? Does your motivation matter? If you're doing it to compete and to fulfill your vanity and to assuage your fear, does it matter? And the answer is, of course it matters. The reason why you do something is just, if not more important, as to what you do. The why matters. There's a million different ways to do the what of a project or of a goal. So, I just wanted to share this with you, okay? Be aware. The world is competing for your attention, and it wants to hook into your feelings, okay? And if you let it, and it does, and it will, and they will, this will affect your thoughts, and this will affect your habits, the way that you process information, the way that you expect information, the way that you expect to interact. And this process itself can be damaging and maladaptive to you. Indeed, it is. Okay? You know the answer to many of these things. Find yourself time to meditate. Find yourself time to reflect on your own life. Care about your immediate environment, your friends, your room, your office, your organization. Not the external world, not the products. You don't need much. Okay? But the world is trying to convince you that you need them. And while you do need some of it, you don't need all of it. Okay? I'm suggesting that it creates a kind of madness and an environment in which it is impossible to know yourself. Know yourself and you will know all the gods is the inscription above the Delphi temple. Okay? So before Christianity was very powerful. This is, the ancient Greek times and Roman times. Know thyself and you will know all the gods. And now you have a concerted, powerful effort to keep you from any sort of true self-knowledge, which you will gain through reflection and being alone and thinking deeply and being disciplined to yourself and holding yourself to your standards. Is this possible in this day and age? And the answer is yes, I believe it is. Can you do it? Well, it's up to you. Do you need to do it? I believe eventually you will, and you must. I believe that madness is down this other road. But of course, isolation and loneliness is down this other road. So we all have choices to make, right? Don't simply run away from your fears. Don't simply go along with the group. Get to know yourself. Come to understand and appreciate yourself. And I believe that will serve you in fulfilling your life's goals, much more so than, current trends and fashion statements and media and entertainment and fast food. So try to take care of yourself. Try to protect yourself from people who don't take care of themselves. And know that I, Howard Dare, am very grateful to all of you out there who give me your time, who give me your attention. I hope I'm giving you something meaningful. People who have supported me in my situation. Someday I think I'll get to tell you what's going on. It's quite a story. It's a 5-year exodus, right? It's a big one. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that for now. Let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. Por favor, senor. And join me again, Howard Dare, as I hope to and plan to and will have more content for you. Thank you, MGTOW.